Hello, this video is series of tutorial for Aoi Kimono pattern available on Ravelry. Let's start picking up sleeve after we seam the kitchen rested on the shoulder. This is the back part of the seam and here is the neck part. We start picking up stitch for the sleeve. Start from the armpit area. There usually a gap or a hole at the base of the armpit. I will show you a trick of mine that I use at the end of the video. Here's where you should pick your stitch up on the edge of the fabric. With new strand of yarn, pick up the first stitch, not at the big hole but the next stitch, approximately on the center of the armpit. Picking up the stitch stated on the pattern, evenly distributed on the sleeve. And then you start knitting in the round in this direction. When you're walking in a round, you should at beginning of the round marker. Here we start walking round 1 after picking up stitch. Knit stockinette stitch in round until you reach the length of sleeve you desire. After the length of the sleeve reach, cut the yarn and leave the yarn tail. Then we start knitting the edging of the sleeve. With new strand of yarn, here I change to edging color. First round is knit all. When you change color in knitting, you should start with row 1 or round 1 with all knit stitch. Because this edging is a garter stitch and we work in round 2 is all purl. Work the pattern and then we start binding off. Take off your marker, knit 1, knit 1, and then bind off. Put the stitch over the needle, knit 1 and bind off. Here's how I will finish the bind off, so it will look neat at the edging. Bind off like usual. Cut the yarn. Just pull it off the last stitch. And then we're gonna need a tapestry needle. Put the yarn through the tapestry needle. And then we're gonna insert the needle through a V, like that. The first stitch, the first bind off, and back into the last bind off. And here I will show you my seaming technique for the yarn tail. You work away from the edge and then start duplicating the stitch pattern. Up and down a few stitches, and then you can cut the yarn after leaving a centimeter or two yarn left. Do the other yarn tails with the same duplicate stitch. If there is a gap when you introducing the new strand of yarn, you will work continuing in the direction of the yarn. Here's the duplicate stitch. And we start working on the yarn tail from the edging color, away from the hole, and then with the end on the edging color. Here we're gonna work on the hole at the armpit. Turn the work inside out. Pull the yarn a little bit snug and you can see where it came from. Put it on tapestry needle and then you will go to the other side where the new strand came on. And then I pick a few stitches at the edge of the hole to tighten it up and close the gap. Here I start the duplicate stitch to weave in the yarn tail. Weave in the other yarn tail with same method, duplicate stitch. And if you need another go to tighten the hole at the armpit, you can have work it with this strand too. Here's the gap after we weave in all yarn. Thank you.